Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Christian Surlis, and for the policy speech, I will be doing the wage gap and inequalities between men and women in the workforce. So men and women are different. Everyone knows that, but no one asks why. Why are men and women different? Going into my first blog assignment, I wanted to learn about one of the differences, which was the wage gap. I saw the statistic of 77 cents to the dollar. So every 77 cents a woman was making, a man was making $1. And I wanted to further investigate it. And basically what I found out was that was the median income of all women versus the median income of all men. And looking at more statistics and diving into that statistic more deeper, I came to the conclusion that it was primarily caused by a difference in choice and not by sexist bosses paying their employees less. However, this raised an even bigger question. Why are women making these choices? After all, wouldn't you want to be paid more? Wouldn't you want to go into the career field that's paying the most? Trying to answer this question caused me to see a bigger and much larger moral problem between men and women in the workforce. And I came to the conclusion that though everything might be equally lawfully, or even through business or financially, socially it is not. Men and women are expected to go into certain fields and act a certain way basically because of their gender. And this causes a large social inequality of gender norms that goes under the radar. And from an early age, boys and girls are expected of different things. Boys maybe are given a toy or a gun or an action figure to play with, while girls typically are given dolls or a tea set to play with. Boys are typically told to go outside and play and scrape your knee. Girls are typically told to stay inside and don't get hurt or don't get messy. And what I'm getting at here is that male kids typically are taught to be active, adventurous, outspoken, bold, inquisitive, while female kids are encouraged to be more passive, calm, dependent. And the ones that are associated with leadership are mostly male traits, mostly of these so-called male social norms. And at first this seems harmless because you're just dealing with children. But it actually is the opposite. It's really harmful because it causes a distortion, especially in the workforce. It causes women to not be promoted because many leadership positions are seen as a masculine trait that's been ingrained into them early since childhood. This is backed up with a startling statistic. And the statistic goes like this. Women only make up 10% of leadership management positions in the U.S. So out of all the leadership management positions, women are vastly underrepresented. And so not only is it contributing to them getting promoted to these higher leadership positions, but also another study shows that it's going into what choices they make in the career field. And a study done by Georgetown stated that women make up about 1 of 5 of the highest paying majors, while men make up 4 of 5 of the highest paying majors. And for the lowest paying majors, women make up 4 of 5 of that, and men only make up 1 of 5 of that. So obviously there's a discrepancy there. And so the main problem is that men and women need to be given a fair shot socially. Due to gender norms, women are struggling and often feel stuck because of all the traits that are associated with leadership have been expressed as mainly male. And all the traits that have been associated with technical or things maybe you work with your hands or more danger has been mainly male. And as you can see, that is a big problem. And like any problem, there needs to be a solution. So I believe the best solution for this problem is to start at the source. To start as early as when they're in their childhood, as I brought up before. And I believe the only way to do this is through education. Constantly educating and supporting children to do what they're interested in is imperative, and to not feed into these social stigmas that have been presented throughout the years. So you need to start in elementary school. So in elementary school, things just as simple as changing the classroom culture, encouraging girls to go out and maybe scrape their knee, encouraging girls to go out and maybe get dirty, just as much as you would encourage a boy. And encourage these girls with all these predefined leadership traits just as much as you would encourage a boy. And be aware of the gender language you're using at these kids with a young age. Maybe use language such as friend or student. And exposing kids to stories where maybe the girl's the main character, or the girl's a strong character, because so many literature, especially in elementary school, has to do with a boy being the main character. So exposing them to almost equal ideologies. And then when they go out and through middle school and high school, expose kids to the stereotypes that we've discussed. Help them learn to identify them when they see them. For example, they could use a book like To Kill a Mockingbird in the 1960s and have examples of in that book on how women and men are treated, and they can do that in so many other literatures. Basically what I'm saying is teach them the examples of it and how to identify it, and it will help them immensely. Another important thing is also exposing girls, especially in the high school time, to these male careers. A lot of times girls are only exposed to the careers that are typically made for girls. And here's a startling statistic about that. 66% of fourth grade girls like science and math. And only 14% of girls, by the time they get into high school, want to become a scientist. So the interest is there. It's just that society is constantly pushing them into a direction, and our education has been pushing them into a direction. So the solution is simple. Push men and women in school in the same direction. Give them all the same opportunities, expect the same things from them. And so I want to conclude with this. As I said before, it starts in the education system. And it starts with the motivations behind it. Men and women may get paid equally for doing the same jobs. But like I said, the motivation behind what they're doing is much different. Women need to be motivated the same way men are motivated. And men need to be motivated the same way women are motivated. And once that happens, I believe that you will see a lot more equal choices being made in the career field. The 77 cents to the dollar statistic, although people are getting paid the same for doing the same job with the same boss, it still shows that there's a sexist culture in America, because we're expecting different things from women and we're expecting different things from men. Thank you very much.